Welcome to the Divorce Angel podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Summerton. Attention business owners, senior managers and executives. Your successful separation begins right now. We have the answers to the questions you did not even think to ask. Let's face it, you're already successful in your career and we're here to help expand your knowledge and limit your costs by designing a strategy for your divorce. We take all that business knowledge you've acquired and we put it to work. With proven strategies, systems and processes, we've saved our clients tens of thousands in legal fees and helped define their future. And now we're doing the unthinkable. We're revealing the secrets the lawyers have tried to hide and giving you our formula for 5 steps to a seamless divorce. We're changing the world one divorce at a time, so stay tuned. Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's podcast. I thought this week we would have a chat about awareness. Now, awareness is something that we as humans, we think that we've got a lot of, but unfortunately we don't have very much at all. And I myself am a prime example of this. If you would have asked me years ago, are you aware of your surroundings? Are you aware of your actions? Are you aware of what's going on in your life? I would have said, yes, of course I am. The truth of the matter is I wasn't. I wasn't at all. And looking back, maybe I may have been aware, 30% maybe 40%, but not as much as I thought I was. Now, as humans, the reason we don't want to even look at our awareness is because if we do, we need to look at all of our faults. We need to look in the mirror and ask ourselves why we are acting the way we are doing, why we're doing the things we're doing. And the most important thing comes down to self-integrity. How integral are you? And if you'd asked me years ago, what are my top priorities? I would have said, over and above everything else, integrity was my number one quality, or was my number one value. And everything I did with integrity. Now, fast forward to where I am today, and I realised even though I thought I was integral, there was so many things that I was doing that were not self-integral. So let me just explain this a little bit more. Recently, we've done some sales calls. We've had quite a few people want to book into my calendar. Quite a number of people really want to understand how I can help them get through their divorce. Because let's be honest here, divorce is very difficult. And whilst the lawyers worry about the legal part of getting divorced, it's the emotional side that everyone struggles with. And emotionally, when we are emotional, we make some of the worst mistakes in our life. They're costly. They can take us down a tunnel that we simply cannot come back from. And I've talked about this before on the podcast, where people make really bad choices because at the particular stage when they're asked a question, they are so emotional, they run with just the negativity and all of the bad things. So I want to get back at that person. I want to retaliate. I want to see them hurt as much as I am hurting right now. And because of that, I'm going to make this decision. I want to ask you this question. Where else in your life do you display these traits? And this is if I bring it all the way back to awareness. Where else in your life do you display the same traits that you might be displaying right now? Going back to the clients booking into my calendar, yesterday I had a day full of appointments, and my number one goal is, after I've spoken to someone, is to let that person know that firstly they're supported, but secondly for them to leave me better off than when they first got on the phone with me. It is so critical for me to let that person know everything will be okay. There will be bad days, there will be good days. This is what I can offer them, but if they do not want to work with me, this is what they need to do to make sure that they've got a clear picture of what their future looks like. All comes back to awareness. So yesterday, a few people just didn't turn up. They'd accepted the meeting invitations. I then sent text messages just to confirm, and they didn't turn up. That's okay. But I understand that when we're going through a divorce, what happens is, we get out of hand. It's really a bad time for us in our life. But then I get text messages later on. Oh, sorry, I missed the call. Can you ring me now? And all the rest of it. And that's when we're putting pressure on other people, that they have an awareness around what their future looks like. So that when you say something, you do it. Because self-integrity and awareness are some of the most valuable things we can have as human beings. Now let's go back to why your relationship may have broken up. And it may be because of this very reason. So if I talk about myself here, tell you stories about myself because you can learn by my mistakes. But I was the sort of person that when my ex-husband and I had a conversation, if I didn't like the answer, I would brood. I would go quiet for days because I always had to be right. I'd never apologise. And I look back now and go, such awful traits to have. Because to have a successful relationship, you need to be able to communicate. And if someone says something to you, it's your response or it's your personal ability to either allow what they've said to affect you or to trigger you, or you have the ability to not allow it to affect you. And the difference between how I live my life now is chalk and cheese. To be honest, I probably feel a little bit sorry for my first husband because if I was the person I am today, back then, I don't know what may have happened. I still probably would have fallen out of love, but how Richard and I live our lives today is completely different. He can do things that previously may have triggered me that I don't allow to bother me anymore because I'm aware. I'm not aware of anything to do with his issues. I'm aware of my own issues, and my own issues are what help me make better choices and better decisions. So going back to the people that are booked into my calendar, are they truly aware of what they're doing in other people's lives? Are they aware that booking in and saving a time and saying you're going to be there and don't turn up, that shows a strong lack of self-integrity? And I wonder where else in their lives are they doing that same thing? Are they late for appointments? Do they put their own self above everyone else? Is that what they're doing in their relationship? And it doesn't mean that those things can't change, but what it does mean is if they were aware of it, they might be respectful of other people. And talking about awareness is just not about self. It's also about external in your life. So being aware of what's going on around you is really important. Being aware of what other people's emotions are, being aware of what is expected of you, and even being aware that the decisions that you make are your responsibility, no one else's. And this is what I learned when I was going through my divorce, was the fact that every decision I made, every choice I made fell back on me and my shoulders, and I had to make sure that I was right. Now, when I do sales calls or sales inductions with clients, and we're talking about what their needs and wants are from their divorce, in a lot of cases, I ask them what is their greatest struggle. Now, 80% of everyone I talk to, their greatest struggle is overwhelm. And if you look at my 5 steps to a seamless divorce, we go through victim, overwhelm, acceptance, focus, and victor. They are the 5 stages of divorce. And even though I talk about overwhelm in my program, A lot of people, when they name it, they name what they feel, they name the stress in their stomach, why they're stuck in inaction, why they can't make a decision, it all comes back to overwhelm. And the way you address overwhelm is by chunking it down. So imagine if you choose a lawyer and that lawyer writes a letter for you. In that letter that lawyer writes for you, if there are spelling mistakes or issues within the letter, or the letter does not get sent to the right email address or the right address, or you are not copied in, or something fundamental like that happens is not correct, you need to be aware. Because right from the word go, if that's how the correspondence or the work that they're doing starts, that tells you that's how they run their business. And if you need that lawyer to write legal documentation or to submit things to the court on your behalf, and they're making basic mistakes at a level such as just writing a letter to the other side or the other side not getting the letter, you need to be aware that there is an issue. Once again, awareness of what's going on in your life. And I know I probably sound a little bit on my high horse right now. And to be honest, I am, because it frustrates me when people want a really good outcome but are not prepared to be aware. They're not prepared to change the things in their life that aren't working for them right now. If you look in the mirror and there's things happening for you in your life right now, ask yourself why. What is it that you are not aware of that you could change? Because let's be honest, it's your chance to write a new chapter in your life. It's your chance to clear the slate, to start anew, to be a different person. And self-awareness is one of the biggest things that you could do for yourself. It can be the greatest gift you can give for yourself and for your life. So you might ask or be asking, hey Tanya, how do I know what I'm not aware of? And it's a great question, because how do you know if you're letting yourself down in an area if you've always done that same thing? And I suppose it's not until now that I look back, and like I said to you before, when I was in my first marriage and I would brood a lot. So if we had an argument and I didn't get the outcome I wanted, or I thought my ex-husband was wrong and I wanted an apology, all ego, I would brood and we wouldn't talk for days. How is that fixing anything? It's not fixing anything. But I didn't know at that stage that what I was doing was wrong. I didn't realize that the brooding was causing a lot of issues. And when Richard and I got married, I suppose it was my chance to say all of those things in my life that I probably didn't like about myself. It was my chance to address them and make sure that I didn't do them again. But look around now. Look around your bedroom, look around your car, look around your house, your desk, your business. Are you in control? Is your life disorganized? Are you always running late? Do you blame other people for things that happen to you? All of those negative things, look in the mirror and ask yourself, where are you putting blame on someone else? Where are you not aware of your own responsibility? Because the power is in the responsibility. When you know that you yourself can have total control, and if someone says something to you, it doesn't affect you any longer because it's your choice whether you accept what they're saying or not, where you're in control of your mess, where you no longer live in anarchy and chaos, where you're on time. All of those qualities, if that's what you want, and it comes back to that, if that's what you want and you are aware that that's the sort of life you want to live, then I can help you, because that's what we do. We have the processes and the procedures to help our clients, to get them back in control. And you cannot fix a problem at the level that it happened at. You need to step outside of that. And at the moment, if you've got issues, it's because you've reached your glass ceiling. You need to push above the glass ceiling. And I'm not sure whether I said it on here or not, but if I'm in a room and I'm the smartest person in that room, it's time for me to leave, because I need to learn from people that are smarter from me. That's what pushes me outside of my boundaries. That's what makes me good at my job. That's what makes me a better human. That's what helps me pay back to society and to people that I want to see succeed and have a better life. Don't sit where you are right now and blame everyone else. Be aware. Be aware of what's going on right now, because I can tell you it is the most liberating feeling you will ever have in your life when you are so aware of what's going on that you can act responsibly, and you are the person that decides where your life goes. No one else's fault. It's all up to you. And that, my friends, is one of the greatest skills that you can have in your life. If at 40 years old, because that's probably around the average age of a person going through a divorce here in Australia, it's 42 for a woman, 45 for a male. At that stage in your life, at least if you can be aware from that point forward of the mistakes, wipe your slate clean, start again, you can have an amazing life. Okay, sorry, I'm going to get down off my high horse right now, but when you make a promise, stick to it. Be self-integral, because if you're not self-integral, you are always letting yourself down. And when you're always letting yourself down, that's why nothing comes to fruition. You must support yourself, and that comes from awareness and integrity and self-integrity. And it's one of the greatest lessons and gifts that I got from my divorce. It's the greatest gift I got from my divorce. All right, I'm going to talk to you next week. See ya. Thanks for listening to the Divorce Angel podcast. Go behind the scenes of my business to learn the secrets no one else will share. Deep dive into the Divorce Angel process and listen to our most popular episodes over at tanyasummerton.com. If you love this episode of the podcast, do me a favour and head over to iTunes and subscribe and leave a review so we can reach more people and change more lives. That's all for now, and I'll catch up with you next week.